Hello, everybody. To all of our students. Right now, I'm joined by the Rice Bowl Collective. We're going to be speaking a little bit about the work that they're doing. Lots of reasons why I'm excited to be speaking to all three of these amazing people today. But I guess one of the main reasons is just like people, people from the Uni of Manchester, like friends from the Uni of Manchester, like creating something based on their interests and just like getting something done, like what is possible to just make and how you can be active. And that's kind of like what my main like focus on has been, trying to get people involved in things like this. Um, so yeah, hopefully we're going to find out about what the Rice Bowl Collective is if I stop talking. So yeah, how are all three of you? Just briefly introduce yourselves. What did you study at the Uni of Manchester? How did you meet? And then how did you come up with the Rice Bowl Collective? And what is it, first of all?
Emmy, go
Hi,
first.
I'll go first. Yeah. Hi, I'm Emmy. I'm 22 and I studied history at the University of Manchester, and now I'm currently working at Manchester Museum. But yeah, the Rice Bowl Collective came about kind of while we were friends, so it kind of just evolved out of that. I think Howard's going to tell you a bit more.
Lily, and I also studied history and also art history as well. And I'm just working at the uni as well currently.
I'm Hawa, and I also studied history at the University of Manchester. That's how we all met. And like Emmy said, the Rice Bowl Collective was not an accident, but we didn't plan it. So basically, we met in first year, in first semester, and we used our WhatsApp group chat as a way to like rant about things that were annoying us, or just discuss things that had come up in lectures or seminars that we didn't feel like we wanted to talk about in that space. And then after we graduated, we thought it would be cool if we created a zine, just sharing our experiences with studying and like identity and education in general. And we called that Rice, and it was meant to be a small zine, and it we just didn't know when to stop creating things, so it ended up as a 76-page like art book. Um, and we sold that, and then we gave some of the profit to the Black curriculum. And then afterwards, when we were thinking about what we could do with the content that we'd written that people may not have seen because they weren't able to buy the book because we only like printed a certain amount, we were going to make an Instagram account and a website, and we were trying to think of a name for it. And I think we were all just joking out about in the WhatsApp group chat. And I was like, haha, the Rice Bowl Collective. And then I made the account, and then we were like, well, we should do something with it now. Instead of just posting what we've already done, we should try and create spaces that we wished we'd had to join when we were students. So then it sort of all stemmed from that. And now we're like, we did a workshop. We're going to do another one soon. And we're just, yeah, it was, the art book was full of like memes and art and writing. So that's what we do on all the different platforms that we have.
Okay. Was this during, wait, so which year was that?
Well, we graduated in the summer. And then it took from like June, July to about October to make the art book. And then the Rice Bowl Collective like officially started only a few months ago. Before that, it was just us three on our own platforms just promoting the art book, and that was it.
Okay, yeah. But okay, so you kind of stumbled in, or was it always the plan to make like an art book?
I think it was always the plan to do something once we graduated. We didn't have the
Okay, yeah.
headspace or the energy to do it while we were still studying. So we always wanted, like, me and Lily were always talking about it. We were like, we need to make a zine, we need to make a zine, because we had so many things that I'd starred like in our group chat of like in like things that Lily had said or things that Emmy had said that really made me think about certain topics in different ways, and we wanted a way to express that. But yeah, we didn't do it till we graduated, just because we needed time.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So what, obviously, lots of issues at uni that you could talk about. What was the like motivation behind like thinking that you needed to like create this art book, and what were the like important things that came from it?
I think one disappointing thing when I got to uni was how white the University of Manchester actually is. And coming from, obviously, I came from like a small, predominantly white town. So coming to uni, and to see kind of like a similar demographic there was, yeah, that was quite hard. And then meeting like Lily and Hal in my seminars as like one of the very few Asians there. So yeah, that was something different for me, and I think that's what kind of inspired us to like share our experiences with each other.
I think it just stemmed out of us not having, like, we only had these conversations together because there was no one else to have them with. And sometimes in seminars, like the things that we talk about in our group chat were basically just stemming from the seminar discussions, but we didn't feel confident enough or comfortable enough to say them there. So we'd literally be having conversations in the seminar about what the teacher was talking about, but we just didn't want to say out loud. So it was kind of stuff like that, like our WhatsApp group chat was like a seminar in itself, but like lots of different topics that we were talking about. And then we just wanted a way to express that. I feel like, because I do art as well, and so does Lily, it's quite therapeutic to just find a way, like a different way to express how you feel about things, just to think them through yourself, even if it's not for anyone else. So it also kind of, it came from that as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's something we've spoke a lot about in like within like the library peer network, like feeling imposter syndrome, like not really feeling like you like belong to the uni, was like they're like a massive kind of, I don't know if the word would be solace, but in like having like friends of color that you could like relate to, who were going through the same things, was that like a massive step to overcoming that?
I think so. Like if I didn't have Lily and Emmy, I would have gone crazy.
Yeah.
Because I was already crazy. They just kept me from like going insane. But yeah, I think it's just nice because in certain spaces, if you're that only like brown person or just the only person of color, you never feel like you can just be like just exist in a space without thinking about what other people are thinking of you. So having friends of color that are also going through the same thing means that you all relate to each other without having to say anything. So you can say things without feeling like you're going to be judged, or you can just exist without feeling like people are perceiving you in a negative way. So yeah, I think it really helped.
Especially in history as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly thought history would be more diverse. I don't know why.
It was
I don't know what gave me that impression.
it was better than art history though.
Really? See, because the uni that I went to, Birkbeck in London, was like, I think like 50% of the uni was students of color, and then history, I was the only like student of color on the course. And I've said before, like my entire 3 years at uni, I like barely spoke in any class because like you just don't feel like it's like your space.
Yeah, I was the designated spokesperson between me and Emmy and Lily. I always had to say something because they would just look at me and I'd be like, okay, take one for the team.
Yeah. Okay. So you made the art book, sold out. That was nice. And then you started doing workshops. Is that how it went? You went from art book to workshop to the first workshop?
Yeah.
February. Okay. So what was that about, and how did that go? What was the idea behind it?
I just really wanted to do a workshop. I was just like begging, can we please just do a workshop of some sort? And it turned out really nice because everyone just turned up and we were really nervous, but then it was just nice and wholesome, and everyone was just talking smoothly because we were quite worried that no one was going to say anything and we'd just have to talk awkwardly, but everyone was really just like saying what they wanted to and then responding to each other really well and talking about things like the curriculum or like even things like colorism or like therapy, and just saying what they wanted. So it didn't end up as structured as we wanted, but I think that actually turned out better because it was just a nice space for everyone just to say what they wanted to.
Yeah, I was kind of glad it didn't like replicate like your online uni seminars where no one just doesn't want to say anything, but people were actually like really engaged and just wanted to share their experiences. And it was nice because there was quite a lot of international people, so people from like Malaysia and Philippines, stuff like that, and they kind of told us about their experiences with education and their own identity.
Was it for UD of Manchester students?
No, it was for
No, it's
anyone.
open
Like
to
we just,
everyone, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
but specifically talking about education.
Yeah, so we called it like identity and education or something like that. So that was the main aim, was that we wanted to use a workshop as like an extension of the things that we talked about in the art book, but get other people's opinions on it. So our art book was structured into like 3 different chapters. It was identity, the seminar space, and then education, like the national curriculum in general. So that was like our original aim for the workshop, was to also break it down into those like 3 main prompts. And then it just sort of like flew, like, yeah, everyone was just talking. We were so surprised like how many people were engaged, and everyone had their cameras on and talked. It was insane.
Well, so was the plan always to turn it into zine?
You mean the workshop?
Yeah.
So we wanted to use the original aim of the workshop was that people would do like art or like express what they were talking about in different ways, however they wanted to, whether it was writing or art during the workshop. But because everyone was so engaged and talking so much, no one had the time to do any art. So we basically gave people like a 2-week deadline, I think, and then they thought about what we discussed and picked a topic that they wanted to talk about and represent in a certain way, and then they emailed us their work, and then Lily made it into like a digital zine.
Okay. So the zine is like a collection of everyone's individual work after the discussion of the workshop. Oh, okay. So going into the future, the art, because the heart to heart one, the he arts to heart one, is that like because you wanted to do art in the one before? Is that kind of linked to similar themes about like identity and education?
Yes and no. Like one of the things that like a few people did want is to do the art within the workshop. So then we thought we'd have a workshop that was more focused on the art rather than because the discussions were so good in the workshop that we didn't want to take away from it and like break it up by doing random art in the middle of it. But also a few people had said that the first workshop had felt like therapy, like not deep therapy, but like it was just such a wholesome place that they could express themselves freely. And they wanted to do something a little more like free flowing again like that, but talk more about well-being related to their identity. So that's the aim of this workshop, is to have like a well-being workshop where you draw at the same time as just talking about literally, like it can be anything, like how you were that day or anything related to your well-being, just making friends, because loads of people made friends in the first workshop and it was really cute. So yeah.
For sure. It's hard as well, like with everything online. Like for our like first year students, like getting to uni, I know for a lot of them, have said it's just been like really underwhelming, like getting to uni and like not being able to meet anyone. Yeah. So like the first one, like you're saying, it was almost like a therapy. Is that something that you think is like really important to like the issues we were talking about earlier? Is it really important to like be aware of like the challenges that you can face in education or just with identity in general, and like how important is it to like speak about it openly in a wholesome, safe environment like the Rice Bowl Collective?
I think there's not
I think it is.
You're so rude.
Sorry, Lily, you go.
And you guys, yeah. Oh.
Who's talking?
Yeah, you go.
Edit
Lily,
that bit out, please. I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, I think there aren't really any spaces at all to talk about education and identity and things, because just in general, like school doesn't teach you that you're going to have an identity crisis, or like it doesn't teach you things that are going to happen about like the curriculum being awful and stuff. It just teaches you that the curriculum's like great and you shouldn't have any problems with it. So you kind of just like build up feelings, I guess, unless you talk about it. And there aren't as many spaces as you'd think to talk about it other than just with your friends or something. So having like a public space, I guess, and like a workshop was really nice. And I think you could tell everyone had things that had just been building for a while, that because everyone just thought if someone said something, someone else would be like, oh yeah, I've had something similar, and just like release it almost, I felt like. I mean,
yeah, I feel like people forget like how it like, I don't know, just normal experiences that you go through or things that happen, you sort of just push them to the back of your mind because you need to get on with uni, you need to get on with your exams, and that all just does build up and you need a way to express it. Like I did that through just boning to those two, but at some point I needed to like release them from that burden of like me just crying the whole time. So yeah, it was nice to do that in a space where everyone felt the same way because they'd all just been holding on to things for so long too, like Lily said.
Yeah, I think as well it helps to like validate your experiences, because I know when you're at uni you can feel quite alienated when you're going through, like you had a certain experience and you don't know if kind of anyone else is going through the same. So I think when you talk to like-minded people, you realize that yeah, you're not the only one that's had that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad in itself.
Yeah.
We can all relate to the trauma.
We can all relate, but like at the same, like okay, so if like there's obviously an issue and like there's things that can be done which can like help ease the issue or like help you overcome it or help you like get to grips with it, like what needs to be done, not to like make you policymakers or anything like that, but what like how do like institutions like university or school, like how do they like create spaces, what can they do to like help?
I mean, I think things like Students of Colour Network, if I'd had that at uni, it would have been so nice for me because, like, obviously the big things are like structural issues one person can't change, but just having spaces where you can talk about the issues and find ways to deal with them together is so much nicer than having to think about it yourself the whole time, just in your room, like after uni, and you're just like, oh, this happened and this happened, and I can't do anything about it, but I've got no one to talk to. So I feel like really good tutors help a lot, which is why me and Lily and Emmy always talk about like Eloise and Jesus, because like they were just so wholesome. Like they made, even in their seminar spaces, I remember Eloise's, she really made it like a comfortable space for people to talk about and express their opinions without feeling really like out of place, regardless of what you were going to say. And I feel like in other seminar spaces that wasn't the case. So even just things like that, like just having good tutors and the things like Students of Colour Network are really good.
So I remember I got to the Uni of Manchester and the first person I met was Kerry, and like from that moment on I was just sorted out because I knew that she was going to get me involved in all of like the things that I wanted to, like make me meet all the right people. I met Sibia and Hannah like straight away. And I was kind of like,
she introduced me to Sibia as well.
Yeah. She carries like her own like Student of Colour network. Is that something that either of you two think is like massively important as well? And like what else can be done as well?
Well, I think, we've recently joined ARSH, which is like our shared cultural heritage, which is kind of like the young collective with Manchester Museum. And I think that's really helped as well to like connect with other people of colour and just like-minded people who kind of do have the similar experiences and stuff as well. And I think because it's run by Baz, it's run by Sadia and Baz as well, who work for the museum, but because they're people of colour as well, they know that they are aware about the experiences that we may have, and it's just nice to have kind of like an older generation validating your experiences as well, not just your peers.
Lily, you gonna say something?
Oh, I was just thinking more generally. I just wish that history was taught less like it's just in the past, but more like I just wish more people would talk about how it genuinely affects people today and how important it is to know your heritage and how it helps you like create your identity and feel more confident as well. And it's like when I was at school, I just felt like it was just taught like, oh, it happened and or like Henry VIII or whatever, and it's happened and it's just something in the past. But I just wish that it was taught more like, I don't know, like STEM or something where people know that it's important for the future and it's important for the present and it's a I don't know, I'm a history nerd and I wish more people would see it as something really, really important and valuable to learn. And that I don't know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I remember I was having a conversation about like not really feeling like I was a historian, even though like I loved history and was like interested in history, like going to uni and like being surrounded by people who like feel more like historians because they've got like that the academic background and things like that was like a big issue for me.
I remember Eloise telling Lily, like, you need to write like you're a historian because you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eloise was so nice. She
Eloise
said we're all historians.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So how do people get involved in the workshop coming up? When is it? What's it going to be like? If you're not an artist, I went to one live drawing class like 2 years ago, but that's all of my art, like competency. So can I get involved? What is happening? And how do I get involved?
Then if you want to talk about it.
You talk about it.
Okay, I will talk about it. So you can get involved through our Instagram, which is the Rice Bowl Collective. We have an Eventbrite sign up in the link in our bio. And if you're not an artist, you can join. Like it's not about creating like insane artworks. It's more just, like when you just do like coloring in and it's really therapeutic, that kind of thing. Do you not do coloring in? Wow.
Oh.
Wow. Well, I recommend you do because it's really therapeutic.
Is it?
But anyway, so in terms of the prompts that we've done for the workshop, there's only 2. And you can draw them if you want to, but if you don't, me and Lily have made drawing like worksheets. So then you can access them online and print them out. So you can just use them instead of like drawing your own thing.
I have one here. This is the coloring sheet.
Is that you 3?
Wait.
Yeah, it wasn't, apparently it wasn't meant to be.
No, I like that.
Yeah, so there's like worksheets, like coloring sheets if you want to do that. But if you don't, then you can just draw. Like it's not really about what you're creating, it's more about the process of doing that and just having space and time for yourself to just take a break from what you're doing and just life in general. But yeah, Instagram and our Twitter is really annoying because it's not the same handle because we couldn't have the same handle because it was too long. So I don't know what it is, but you can find it in the link in the Instagram bio.
Yeah. Okay. My final question is, okay, after this workshop, which will go really well, I'm sure, what is the plan for the future of the Rice Bowl Collective? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
I mean, I think we just want to do as much as we can. Like, it's really fun for us. And it's also like, I just really enjoy this kind of thing, like talking about history and heritage and identity and education. So we want to do, I think like we were talking about how we want to do more educational posts that are more, because I loved history at uni, but I found it quite inaccessible if you look at it from like a non-history student perspective, because you're only going to get that as a history student at uni. And even then, the articles are just like, it takes 5 years to read them all because they're too prestige. So like everything that you read in terms of history is quite inaccessible, and we wanted to try and find a way to share just history topics in a way that just anyone can read and understand a bit more about a topic that we want to talk about, especially history that we've not been taught at uni or that's not in the national curriculum. And then I guess more workshops, just anything cool we can do. I don't really know where we're going. Like it started as an accident and it's just carrying on. We're just going with the flow.
Yeah. No, that sounds sick. That sounds sick.
We'll remember you as the first person that interviewed us and we're famous.
Yeah, we won't forget you. It'll be on our Wikipedia page.
Okay, I'm just gonna ride the coattails of your success then, basically.
Means you have to come to the first workshop though as well. But you need to come to the. When is it? It's next week.
Oh, April the 3rd.
Next Saturday.
Yeah,
that's my mum's birthday. That's my mum's birthday. But I'll still be there.
You should get her to join. Just join together. That would be wholesome.
Well, that's the thing, because she's actually an artist, so she would probably show me up.
That's cool.
Yeah. She is a massive artist. I was the only one in the family that didn't get the artistic creative gene for some reason.
I bet you can actually draw, but you're just comparing.
Oh, no chance. No chance. I can draw stick figures.
Same. The icebreaker for the workshop is drawing, like it's like a quick, like 5, even like a minute, I think. And we're all just going to draw like a self-portrait really quickly. And mine is genuinely going to be a stick figure.
Yeah, okay. What I might do actually is get my mum to like draw in the side and then get her artwork and show that. And then I'll be like famous in the...
You should come though. And you should also try colouring because it is therapeutic.
Yeah, okay. I'll buy some crayons. Is that what you could?
Just anything.
I actually have, to be fair.
Do you actually have crayons?
I know, I bought some off Amazon. Just for the workshop. Yeah.
Do you actually?
Dedication.
Oh.
Okay. I'll wrap up now, not to take too much of your time. But yeah, thank you, all of you, for coming, speaking a little bit about the work that the Rice Bowl Collective has done. Like I said earlier, like just really inspirational that to see people like creating great things, great groups, putting on great workshops, that kind of thing. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.